So today I'm pleased to say that we have Sarah Palmer. As I said, she's the manager of ProQuest Customer Experience, and she will do a nice presentation, and then we'll have a question and answer session and maybe a demo. I'm not sure about that. I'm very pleased to see the turnout. If you are a researcher, this is a wonderful tool for you learning about other people's theses and dissertations in your literature search. If you are a librarian, this is something you have to tell your researchers and postgraduate students about, because it is an excellent tool, and we hope that you learn a lot in this presentation. Sarah, I will turn it over to you, and you can
Great.
put up your presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. As Lenny said, my name's Sarah Palmer. I live in Chicago, and so it's morning here. It's a little cold, getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as Lenny said, we're going to have a PowerPoint, and then we will go over, just make sure I'm sharing correctly. We will have a live demo, and there will be time for questions and answers. And we have a big group, so if I don't see your chat right away, just please feel free to re-chat that to me. I'm just going to turn my video off just so I have some more bandwidth. I am going to put a handout, a link to a handout in the chat, and that is going to go over some search tips that I'm going to cover in today's webinar to really help you maximize using ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global. We also have Jess Byrne on the call. She is our product marketing manager for this product. So again, you've got great people to ask questions of this morning. And I'm so excited that this is new for you, because it is a really powerful database. So let's get into it and talk about exactly what this means. And I know that some of you will have questions about, hey, how does my institution participate, or how can I submit my dissertation once I write it? And I will have information about that at the end of this PowerPoint. Also, when I do the demo, I will be doing the demo as if I am using Research for Life's account. So all the searches that I do, you'll be able to follow along and replicate on your end. So what are our goals today? We've got just 4 really simple goals for this database. And one is understanding the content coverage of ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global. And I might call it PQDT. That's how we refer to it at ProQuest. I have to say, I went to library science school in the United States. You go to library science school after you've already gone to undergrad. I wish I had been able to do them reverse, because I would have utilized this database for bibliographies and also ideas about research. If you have an idea, you can check if someone else has already written about it and how they've presented it. So we're going to talk about best practices for searching for information in the database. We're going to look at subject searching. Now, we say at your institution may not participate right now, but you may have an interest in a particular subject area and you want to see what people are writing about. Dissertations are a great place to get information ahead of journals and conferences, because people are writing this while they're still in school. And also, we're going to talk about additional ProQuest resources. And one of those is that handout, and I'll point out some other resources for you. So what is, this database? So if you've worked with other research databases, what sets PQDT apart is that this is scholarship that has been created and made available by other researchers. So these are people working in a field similar to you. They are, finding those sources that help their research. Maybe they're doing their own methodology and they're including that information in their paper. But the great thing is that so much of this product is full text. So if you're somebody on this call who's not close to a library, or maybe not affiliated with a library, you can still get a lot of great information just right on your laptop, right on your phone, and get that full text. So what I mean by full text is that you'll get the paper in PDF as it would be printed by somebody after they submit it. We also talk about discovery on this slide. So again, you all know when you're interested in something, you want to see what else other people have published about a topic. That's how you can discover kind of different opinions, I should say. So I had a discussion with one of my colleagues at ProQuest who's a historian. And I said, Daniel, do we really need another book on the Civil War? The United States Civil War, there's a lot that's been written about it. And he said, well, Sarah, what happens is every researcher approaches a topic from their time and their perspective. So I don't ever want you to think that you can't find historical information in PQDT that might inform your current research. And again, very unique content. So if you have an idea, we have a dissertation for that. All right, so let's look at content coverage. This is not just a United States or North American product. This is a product that represents over 60 countries. So again, we have many universities that are represented in this product. One of the things that we do when we do training here in the US is we'll talk to students who are maybe in an undergrad program and they're interested in a graduate program or a PhD program, and they're thinking about a specific institution and they want to say, okay, does the University of Kentucky support my research? Do I maybe want to go there and work with an advisor? There's also 3 million full text records. We add 200,000 titles annually. And as you can see, actually a majority of the titles are from outside the US. So again, if you're thinking, oh, is this going to have a particular slant or a particular focus? No, it really is a global representation. And, Jess being on our product team, they are adding new content and it increases every year. So this slide to me is kind of funny because, if you wanted to read this whole entire slide, what couldn't you find in dissertations? So when I used to have the opportunity to go visit our customers in person, I would, in a hotel, when you're staying in a hotel, like sometimes you get a free paper at your door. And I would just bring the paper to the presentation and I would say, let's just look at the front page of the paper or the back page of the paper. And I bet every single story in this paper will have a dissertation. And I don't think I was ever stumped. I mean, there is everything from sports injuries to climate change to electronic vehicles to pop culture, architecture. So just really exciting the disciplines you can find. So again, I think the slide to me is kind of funny because there's a lot in there. But how does it break down as far as disciplines? You can see that we do have a lot in, maybe the 16%, which I think is biological science. That looks like the same kind of color there. But you can see that it's pretty well distributed across a lot of different subject areas. So it's not like it's super heavy in STEM and then doesn't have anything in literature or religion or philosophy. So it is nice to see that there's a really nice wide distribution of the different subjects and disciplines. And again, here's a breakdown by country. So while the United States does have a very large number, you can see it's followed by UK, China, and then further on down the line. And again, we continue to add new countries and we continue to add new titles every year. So maybe we'll even start to see some increase in some of the countries from where all of you are attending. And like I said, I'm going to have some information at the end about how you can submit your research to the database. So what are the importance? This was something when we met with Research for Life beforehand, when we did some tech tests and stuff, we were talking about the makeup of your organization. And what's the importance of knowing about this database? Well, the first thing is that the importance is that this is generally a database that our customers pay for. And while some of the content in our database has been published open source, most of it is content that you would not be able to access unless you had ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. So I just want to stress the importance that this database is not going out on Google or Bing or an open search. This is a very specific content set that, again, has gone through a process of submission. All of these dissertations have been signed off on by advisors. So again, it's much different than somebody who's just, I don't want to say just publishing open source, because I do acknowledge the value of open source, but I'm just saying that having access to this product really gives you some really robust research. So why use dissertations? One, they test and present new trends and ideas. Again, there might be some topics that you're interested in that, because of maybe polling or surveying, it's going to be difficult for you to create your dissertation. You may want to see what someone else has done before and how they did it. There's a lot of methodology included in these papers. You also get the entire dissertation. So instead of just reading a short journal article where someone's presenting the overview of what they have written about, you're actually going to get the full paper. I can't stress that enough. It's really important. Sometimes dissertations are the only place that you can find research and literature on uncommon topics. Somebody might be presenting an idea that's really unusual, and their advisor said, yeah, go for it. But when they get to a job or they get to a publisher, they say, no, that is not something we're interested in. So you can really get some uncommon topics. For you, the up-to-date literature reviews and bibliographies are going to be so important. The dissertations are going to point you toward other sources. They're going to point you toward really popular sources, and they're going to help you identify the content that's been utilized by other researchers. They also feature extensive research data. They can give examples of expected writing style and format. Now, I have a feeling, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I have a feeling that a lot of you on this call are doing research more in like the social justice and environment and maybe topics like that. But we do have dissertations on things like music and dance. I've actually found a dissertation that was a screenplay. So sometimes if you're thinking, well, how does somebody write a dissertation that deals with poetry? That's where you could go in and get that writing style and format. So you may be thinking, well, how does somebody formulate a table? How does somebody show a chart? Again, that would be in the dissertation. And they can uncover recommendations for future research. So you may recognize some of these logos. I recognize a lot of them. I'm glad, thank you, Jess, for not putting Michigan and Illinois next to each other since we lost to them this weekend. But my alma mater, University of Illinois, is there. We work with a lot of the big schools here in the United States and again, across the world. One of the things that I found, I'll just mention this on this slide while we're looking at it, is that I've been to trainings where somebody has met somebody at a conference, and so they said, oh, I met so-and-so at this conference, and they're a professor at Indiana, and I know they published their dissertation when they went to Indiana, and I asked them to send it to me, but they didn't send it to me. Well, you can go get it in the database. You can look them up. So there are really good resources for you. So I'm going to address some of these questions here. Now, forgive me, I don't use Zoom that often. I'm used to Teams, so I may be checking the chat. So if I'm slow to get to the Q&A, again, just bear with me as I'm working with this technology. So are these dissertations open access? Some of them are. When people submit their dissertation, they have the option to make them open access. but you will find that most of them are not, okay? So when you go through the submission process, there's information about copyright. If you do have something that is patented, you can embargo your research. So again, if you're working on something that's an invention, that would be something that you would take care of during the submission process. So all of that legalese, I'm not going to go over that because that is all covered in our submission documentation, but those questions are answered. So the ProQuest database that I'm talking about today is free for you to access. You access it how you access your other Research for Life databases, but it's not free on the internet for anyone to get to. So this is really a really great benefit for all of you being part of this organization. So hopefully that got those two questions. But yes, all that legal stuff about copyright and those types of questions are answered in the submission documentation. So how can you find ProQuest Dissertations and Theses in your library holding? Again, for you, all of you, it is going to be through your Research for Life portal, how you access your other databases. And maybe when I start doing the demo, if Lenny wants to share that screen at all, we can do that. But I'm going to go into your account. This is a screenshot from my account. So you don't have 278 databases. You have 3. They're very powerful. We'll talk about those. But you can change databases if you want to move to another one. And if you don't have a librarian that you work with or an institution that you work with, again, I'm going to give you some resources that you can get to. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, good. I can show in the Q&A that I answered the question. So then it allows other people to type in. Wonderful. Oh, that's so nice. So again, your view is going to look a little bit different, but it's going to work the same exact way. Everything on the ProQuest platform works the same exact way, where you have a drop-down menu on the top left-hand side, and you can change databases, and that will show you all the databases that you subscribe to that are available on the ProQuest platform. Again, I'm just going to put it again. I had put a little handout, a link to a handout in the chat, and that will give you some tips on searching. Now, we did get a question about, is this available to every Research for Life subscriber institution? My understanding is that there are some there are some regions that aren't able to access the database. So that is something that you'll want to check with Research for Life about. So I can't speak to the exact, some of the places that don't have exact access, but that's something that you can get from them. All right, so we're looking at how to select the database. I'm going to skip by this one because we'll look at this live when we look at selecting the databases. But really what it's showing is with the ProQuest platform, you can search across all 3 databases that you have access to, or you can just go into dissertations and theses. So what are some best practices for searching PQDT Global? The way that the search works on the ProQuest platform is if you put in a term like marketing strategy, it is going to search marketing and strategy. Okay, that's the way the search works. It's automatically putting that and in that search for you. So one really good way of searching is just putting in what we call a bag of words, just like you would any other search engine. Now, I work a lot with students, and when I work with students and they get 2 million results, they're like, yes, 2 million results. This is just like Google. This is awesome. But you all may be thinking, oh my gosh, 2 million results, that's too many. So the next strategy that you can do is you can use quotes, just like you can with other databases. That's going to be very specific. So that's only going to bring back results that have marketing strategy. Now, again, keep in mind that this search is so powerful that it's searching the full text of every single dissertation that's in this database. So that is a search. And then we also have proximity searching. And that can really be helpful to say, I want marketing strategy, but I also want it within 2 words of the word price. And that is really important because that's going to bring back more topical searches. And you can even get really fancy and put marketing strategy in quotes near to, and here in this example, you'll see that they used a wildcard. So that would bring back prices or pricing or priced. That would be sort of a weird word. Really, you're not, this database does not charge you by the search. One summer I was going to make a t-shirt that said run a second search. I don't know why people don't want to run a second search. Run a second search, run 10 searches. Keep working until you get the results that fit your needs. So I got a question about plagiarism checkers. I just want to point out the content that goes into ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. ProQuest Dissertations and Theses takes content either from individuals or from institutions. So this is not like they're just putting their content straight into this database. So all of that plagiarism and that's already been done by their advisor, okay? So that's really something that it makes this database different. And can you deposit your notes into ProQuest? No, we wouldn't take your notes, but if your notes were part of your dissertation, yes, of course, that would be something that if that content is part of the dissertation, we would take, but just notes on their own, no. Okay, so we have a basic search and they, the basic search is going to allow you to say full text or doctoral dissertations, or we now have a new feature in ProQuest Dissertations called citation connections. And the citation connection is really great if you are trying to follow some research through a pattern or through different writers. And that is going to help you. So I'm going to answer some of these questions as we come along, but I might start saving some of these to the end because I can see we're going to have a lot. Data sets from research. Yes, we would take your data sets paper. Okay, so it has to be that completed paper. And yes, we still have some information about copyright, which again, that would be covered in the submission documents. So I'm going to mark those answered. I'm going to put those here. So the search results, like any database that you're probably familiar with working with, is going to allow you to do some faceting after the fact. And you can use filter options to refine your result. And we'll take a look at that live because I think this may have just recently been updated. We just did some updates to the ProQuest platform. So again, any update we make to the ProQuest platform benefits ProQuest Dissertations and Theses because it's on the ProQuest platform. So how can you search dissertations within citations connection? So using citation connection, that is available from that basic search screen. And after putting in your search, you can check the box that says citation connections. There's also a little I button there that will give you some more information about what you'll have available and how that's going to connect to other content. So if you're searching directly in the database, you can also refine your search results to citation connections, and that will give you that filter on the result page. And then what's going to happen, and this is new, and again, I realize this database is new for a lot of you, so you may say, all of this is new, Sarah, it doesn't matter to me. But what's going to happen is on that right-hand side, you are now going to see an area called foundational research on this topic. And so we've always had information in the database. In fact, I want to just annotate it really quickly. I'm going to get a little bit better annotation color here. Over here. So this information on the left-hand side where we have references and documents with shared references, that's always been part of the product. But now what we're doing hand side, we're really saying to the researcher, hey, look at this content. You know, this paper that matches your search. So again, this foundational research, this eye tracking analysis of user behavior, that's been cited by 91 other papers. And then this next result has been cited by over 3,300 papers. So really the database is doing that research for you to say, here we have this foundational research, and look at all the other researchers that have used it. And what it's going to do is really put you on that path to follow those papers and those citations. So a couple years ago, we had some students present to us who went to the University of Michigan. And because ProQuest is headquartered in Ann Arbor, and so really what we found out from those students is that when they do research on the internet, this is how they do research. They run a search, they get a result, they expect that result to give them another result to go to. They then want to just, keep clicking. Now, my joke is that eventually you get someplace where you have to read, but you can continue to follow that path of research. All right, so we are going to keep on going here. Oh, and Lenny just posted the information for Research for Life and the Access. So thank you for doing that. So this is what a result looks like with references, and this is where I've been talking about this idea of having a bibliography ready-made for you. So in this example, you can see that for this dissertation called "In Google We Trust: Consumers' Perception of Search Engine Optimization and Its Potential Impact on Online Information Search," it had a bibliography that had 59 references. And you can click on that link that says 59 and it will bring up that bibliography. Now, what I like in the bibliography is that then even the results in the bibliography are going to tell you cited by, references, and abstract details. So content available to you full text really just allows you to sit down at the computer and do the information. So, oh, and thanks Lenny and Jess for answering those questions. I see that you're taking care of the people, so that's awesome. So again, discovering credible sources on specific topic areas that might be overlooked. Here's the interesting thing. You may be looking at somebody's paper who is at an institution that has access to resources that you didn't even know existed. And so this is really a way to, maybe get familiar with a new journal or get familiar with a new author or a new area of study. So we can also look at documents that have shared references, and the definition is down there at the bottom. Documents with shared references are a list of documents that reference some of the documents as the one that you're looking at. So you can use it to find similar papers and authors working in the same field. We do also have browse by subject. We have browse by location. Again, if you want to see what kind of research is coming out of a specific country, or if you want to see what dissertations are available by a specific subject, you do have that browse option available. So as we said, the citation connection is new. We're very excited about it. We've gotten great feedback. It really just takes that concept that the students were sharing with us where they said, I don't want to just get, what they were telling us is they didn't want to just get to their result and kind of be done. Like, hey, here's the dissertation that matches your search. There you go. They really wanted to be able to follow information through the research cycle. Now, for those of you who have not started writing your dissertation yet, we also have, and I see that there's a question in French and I don't speak French, so I could fake it with my Latin studies, but you might have to put that in English, or we can get to you later. But we now also have embedded e-learning modules, so little videos that students can watch if they are looking at how to write a dissertation, or what is a dissertation, or how do I get started writing my dissertation. So if you are an educator and you're going to have a class where you're asking people to write dissertations, or you're a librarian and you're trying to support dissertation writing at your institution, you can locate this right in the product. You don't even have to remember where it is. It'll have discovery tips, and it'll say dissertations demystified. And that is where you can find the information about getting started with a dissertation. So I went by that kind of quick. So how can you keep yourself updated on your own subject? So is obviously a product that is getting new content all the time. And so how can you set up an alert that will keep you updated when a new dissertation goes into the product that matches your subject? So within the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses product, and this applies to all products on the ProQuest platform, you can create an alert. So you are able to, and again, we'll look at this product live when we do our demo, but you can create an alert for a very precise search, and you can have the new results emailed to you. We'll also look at how you can set up an RSS feed, but I find that people really like to get those emails sent to them. So you can also set up a My Research account. And once you set up My Research, all your alerts and saved searches and saved documents are saved on the ProQuest platform. This does involve a simple username and password login. I'm also going to show you, when we're in the platform, kind of the low-tech way that you can keep track of your results, because I'm getting a little bit better, but I was joking when we had our call with Research for Life. During COVID, I got so tired of technology and having to sign up for stuff. I think at one point I had 4 different apps just to get coffee, and it's too much. So I would be the kind of person who wants to use the low-tech way of keeping track of my results, but I can also show you where you can find My Research in the product, and that will, and My Research means the information that you can find, all your saved searches and documents. So let's talk about additional resources. If you're in the product and you go up to the question mark in the top right-hand corner, that will take you to our ProQuest help. And if you go to our training LibGuides, that's going to take you to information that's put together by my team. And again, things like that handout that I sent, that I put in the chat for all of you. It will have recorded videos. It will talk about best practices for searching. We also have the research skills information link there. And then on the left-hand side, we have our support center and our company website. So a lot of great information already in the product if you need any help. This is what our dissertations LibGuide looks like. So again, our LibGuides are put together by our training team, and this is public facing. You can access this. We link the boot camp videos there. We have additional resources. We talk about the unique features and then the searchable fields. And then we do have a marketing page for the Dissertations and Theses product. So if you're someone who wants to market this and promote this at your institution, this is where you can go to get more information for highlighting this product. And so we've gone over the content coverage. We've talked about some best practices for searching. We're going to look at that live. We've talked about subjects. Again, we'll look at that. And then the ProQuest support. So I know that we have gotten questions, and I had it in the PowerPoint. So let me just stop sharing for just a second here. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to get to my PowerPoint because I added it this morning, but let's see if it saved it. No. Okay. Sometimes PowerPoint can be a little funky when I'm downloading it. So just a moment. If you have questions, you can feel free to put those in the Q&A or chat. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show. Share screen. Okay, so if you are an institution and you want to get set up for your institution to submit to ProQuest Dissertations and Theses, you want to go ahead and email us at this pq-academic.relations@clarivate.com. If you're asking why Clarivate, I forgot to mention we were acquired by a company called Clarivate Analytics. And so you'll see we're kind of hybrid right now. My email still says ProQuest under Salesforce, but you might see Clarivate, or you see on these slides, ProQuest part of Clarivate, so that's why. If you want to submit as an individual, and I will put this link in the chat, you can submit directly through our ETD administrator. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment, and I'm going to get those URLs for you. So again, the first one that I'm going to put in is the email if you want to talk to ProQuest about getting your institution set up to submit to ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. And I think Jess had mentioned that they were going to start working with some people, maybe like the beginning of next year to do that. So that timing, may be coming soon to get institutions set up. And if you're an individual, you want to use the information that is at the ProQuest ETD. And I don't think I copied the link. So let me get the link. I think I just did the text, which that isn't going to help you. So let me put that in. Yeah. So then if you want to submit directly, it's the ETD administrator. So how about we look at this live? And I can, take any questions that you have. And I had this planned for about an hour. So again, we'll see how many questions we're getting and we'll take it from there. So this is our LibGuide. This again will give you some more information about dissertations and theses. And then also the ProQuest platform. Like I mentioned, this database is on the ProQuest platform. So this basic search tips, that's actually what I sent all of you. And that will have some really nice tips for searching. So bear with me just a moment. I have to wait for the Zoom menu to go away. I'll see if it does that really quick. I got to move some tabs around here. I'll do it this way. We'll see if I can open up. That's always my frustration when it's like, oh, move out of the way. All right, I'm going to pause my share. I'm going to stop my share really quick, and then that way I can get to your account. And I had it all set up, but sometimes it times out for me. Okay, great. Now we're back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so as you can see, it says Research for Life up there at the top. So I see that access is provided by Research for Life. So I got a question, is part of ETD a new database? No, ETD is not a database. That is the way that dissertations are submitted to ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. Lenny is going to answer the questions on access because he can speak to the access for Research for Life. And again, we've gotten some questions about how are things reviewed. Again, most of the dissertations that come in through an institution. So they are already working with an advisor and a committee. And yes, you can use this product for your institution. We would love for you to do that. So that would be great. And I'll show you some different ways that we can support that. Yes.
Sarah, there's a question about if my institution does not have access, how do I get access? Do I need to pay as an individual, or university libraries are open to this resource, or must the university subscribe? So yes. Maybe you could answer that.
Yeah, so if you don't have access through Research for Life, we do not make this available to individuals. So we don't have individual subscriptions. You would need to check if you have a library that you're affiliated with. So if you are going to school at a library or an academic institution, or you work at an academic institution, or you have an affiliation with an academic institution, they would need to subscribe to ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. So yes, that is how access would happen. Great, thank you. All right, so we're on the Research for Life site. When you open it up, you're gonna see that you've got 3 databases. I'm gonna change my databases. You'll notice that you've got access to early European books, one of our most popular databases, if that is your area of study. You also have access to our environmental science collection, which has the Environmental Science Index and the Environmental Science Database. But we're going to look at ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. That is our main database that we're looking at today. So here's our basic search. So again, thinking about how we're running search, if we want, I'm just going to put in, I'm going to put in global climate change. I'm going to use a very, very huge search. You'll see that I get suggestions. These suggestions are based on searches that have been run on the platform. I could say that I want full text, or I want doctoral dissertations, or I want to look at citation connections. I am just going to go ahead and look at global climate change in full. And you can see that I get a lot of results. We'll look at how we can narrow these results. So some things you want to notice on the screen. One thing I really like to look at, I like to look at this date slider, because to me, there are some subjects that used to be researched that are not anymore, okay? Some things that have fallen out of style, some things that are not socially correct anymore. You can see trends over here. We had gotten a lot of questions about open access, and I did a terrible job annotating that. So let me do this again. I'm off my annotation game. Let me clear. Okay, so if you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, and I'm going to annotate it so you can see it. Next to this result, see how it says full text, and then it's got that little orange thing that I just drew through? That actually shows that this author is making their research available open access. But you can see, not a lot there. So that's why it's really great to have access to this product. So maybe I want to look at global climate change as an actual phrase. Maybe this is the actual phrase. And I want to look near electric cars. So I'm going to do, I want to see electric cars, and I'm not going to put electric cars in quotes, because maybe they started being called electric cars and now we call them like e-vehicles or EV. So I'm just going to keep my search really broad, and you can see I've got 20 results, and that may be all I need to get started. So I can go ahead and sort these by oldest first or most recent first, and I'm going to do most recent first. So here I've got a paper from 2015, and you can see I've got the title, I have an abstract, details, I have a PDF preview. We'll talk about what that means. I have a full text PDF. It's cited by 6 other papers, and it has 241 references. So let's look at this, because during our presentation we hadn't looked at this. Here's where I get those discovery tips. I can just go ahead and dismiss that if I don't need that. And now I'm really in this results page, and there's a lot that I can do in this results page. And we didn't even look at this in the PDFs. In the PowerPoint, but over on the right-hand side, I can download this PDF, I can cite this PDF, I can email this to somebody, I can print it, I can also go to this little hamburger menu, and I can look at all my options. So we do work with Microsoft OneDrive, we work with Google Classroom, we work with Google Drive. ProQuest now owns RefWorks and EndNote, so we work with both those citation products. We support Mendeley. Noodle Tools is more of a younger students. EasyBib. Again, there's a lot of export options. So I just want to draw your attention to this link up here at the top, where it has a URL for this paper. And that's where I was talking that you can do the low-tech way of keeping track. So I might get to a paper, and if I click on over here on the left-hand side, I just want to make sure you see where I'm pointing. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go and click on this abstract details. So the abstract, now in the advanced search, you can search just the abstract. And you may say, I really want my search term to appear in what the author has considered an abstract, because I want something really on point. You'll notice all the subject areas are all linked. You'll notice the author. Now, again, you know, most people just write one dissertation. So the author link, again, you know, okay. You can see this one's 516 pages. Whew, that was a long one. We do show the institution. We show the degree. There is also a document URL. So every single dissertation in this product has a document URL. So when I'm doing my research, my Sarah Palmer research, not my research, which is in the product, I just grab the URLs. But we had mentioned in the PowerPoint, if you look up in the top right-hand corner and there's a little icon of a person, you can create a My Research account. And what My Research account will do is allow you to save your alerts and documents in an account on the ProQuest platform. So again, it just depends how you organize your research. Maybe you already have your own process in place, and we'll take a look at that. I'm going to go back to my results because I want to show you the advanced search. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the advanced search. And you'll notice in the advanced search that you have quite a few drop-down choices. So again, you know, maybe you're looking at, you want to look at dissertations that were part of a specific degree, dissertations that were issued by a specific department. You want to see, did they cite an author? Maybe you know that, you know, I'm not going to use this dissertation unless it cites a specific author. So you can also look at supplemental file types. You can look at universities and institutions. That's all available in this dropdown. You can also utilize our boxes down here at the bottom to look up specific institutions, look up specific subjects, look up specific index terms. So I'm going to look at subjects, and that's going to bring up my just an alphabetical list. And so if I want to look at ones that have the subject of pacifism, I should have picked something that I can say better. I can go ahead and just do search, and that's going to search across the entire database and bring back all of my results. So I can see that 2010 to 2019, there are actually 26 dissertations published on this. And between 2020, and you'll see that we do this out to 2029, there's 12 records. So with the date range, and if you don't see where I'm pointing, I'm over here on the left-hand side. I'm gonna clear my annotation. There we go. I can slide this date slider and I can update this. So this is also a really nice way that I can just, you know, I can look at less results. Like I said, I always laugh because when I do searches and students are like, 12 results, that's, you did a terrible search. And I'm like, no, actually I did a pretty good search. You can rerun the search, and I can take that citation connections. And so here I can see that I have a result. So here we had a question about embargoes. This is great. I didn't even plan this. So you'll notice that this author has said at the request of the author or degree granting institution, this graduate work is not available to view or purchase until July 12, 2023. So that is a real life example where this person has submitted their paper to PQDT. They have provided us an abstract and they have said, hey, this is what I'm writing about. This is what I have written about, but I'm not making my paper available until next year. However, so if you think, well, that stinks, I'd really like to, you know, I'd like to get at that paper. You could always contact Harvard and see if you can borrow it from them. I've done that before. Or if you don't want to do that, go over here on the right-hand side and start to look at the foundational research on the topic, which you already have access to. So if I say, okay, I want to look at this anarchy, state, and utopia. Oops, what did that do? I'm gonna go to the cited by, I think I just clicked the wrong spot there. All right, so this anarchy, state, and utopia, what this is gonna do is bring up my cited by, and I might just have a little technical error there because there's a lot, so it's probably taking a second for it to load. But again, you'll also get suggested sources over on the right-hand side. So just continually making sure that you're seeing sources that are going to match your search. So I want to just show you really quick how an advanced search can change. I'm going to take out this source, and I know we had somebody on the call today who actually put a question in French. So if you want to see all the dissertations that are in French, you can do that. You can see we have 92814 in French, and then you could search by subject. You could further narrow it by subject. Let's look at electrical engineering in French. I'm sure it sounds really fun when it's in French, and you'll notice that you always get this quick view, so you can look at something. Now, again, some of this foundational research you might see where it says not seeing results. I think that's probably because it's in French and it's just having problems making the connection behind the scenes, but still a lot of great info. So let me go back to the advanced search. And I just want to show you how your search can change based on what you are using that. Oh, and Lenny wants to answer the question live. This is a great question. This is actually one that we do get. So Lenny, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to answer that live?
Is this the one about can a researcher use this
Yeah.
medium? I don't know about how to do it in ProQuest, but I'm suggesting to the professor to go to Research for Life and look up the Dimensions database. I think there's also, if you go to the, I'm going to send more details, but if you go to the Dimensions database, you can look up an individual or an institution and find out who has written on the same subject, and then you're able to communicate with them. So there is another tool. Oh, he's answered it already, that Dimensions is loaded. Thank you. So there is another tool you can look up for colleagues and for potential people to collaborate with. And also it has a section for funders. Okay. I will put in the chat where the actual link is. No, I'll put in the answer here in the chat where Dimensions is located and where the training material is on that. So I'm sorry, you go ahead now.
Oh, no, that's great. So, and I was going to say, that's actually a question that we've gotten where people have said, can I use the example of, hey, I met somebody at a conference and, I want to go ahead and, get their paper. This is all in there. So if I met somebody and I wanted to look at, people with my last name, and I see that, I'm just going to pick this one person, I'm going to add it to the search, and it's going to go ahead and bring, I don't know why it's doing that exact. I think because I still have pacifism or something set. But it will go ahead and show you who that author is. I'm going to go ahead and go to advanced search and just do anywhere. And I'm going to put in e-vehicles, or we'll do EV. So we'll just do anywhere here. And we're not going to translate just yet. So looking at the information that we have, I think so here what I'm doing, I still have it on French. There we go. So the database, so I'm glad you saw that live. The database can be a little sticky sometimes. So if you've done a search and you're thinking, why is that being weird? It was still picking up French. What I wanted to show is over here on the right-hand side, if you've run a search and you've gotten way too many results, you can modify the search. So you can change up what you did if you want to say and gas, or something like that, or charging stations or something. You can do that. You can also look at saving your search. So if I really like this search and I want to go ahead and run it more times, I can sign into my research, and that will help you save the search. You can also get a search link. So as I mentioned, there's always kind of a lower tech way of doing it too. I can just grab this search link. It's going to be good for a year. And every time I come into the product, I can go ahead and run that search, and it will bring back results for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put, we're going to look at social justice near 10, and we're going to put voting. So again, we're going to do a proximity search. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and, again, create this alert. So I can name this alert. So I can put, I can say that this is social justice and voting. It will remind me what search I ran. It will tell me my database. I can put in my email. It'll have my subject. I can, put a message to myself. I can also get this daily. I can get this weekly. I can get this monthly. I can get this quarterly. So if you are someone who's trying to keep up on an area or a topic, and maybe you're not even writing a dissertation, but you have access to this database and you want to set up an alert to keep up to date on research, that's a great way to do it, is to set up an alert. And all these steps are also in our LibGuide. So I'm going to show one last thing, and then I'll look at the questions really quick. Up in the top right-hand corner, there is an icon, pardon me, that looks like a clock. It looks like you're turning back the clock. That's actually what you're doing. This has saved all the searches that I've run during this session. Now, your sessions don't time out as quickly as they used to. So, but again, if you ran a particularly awesome search that you want to go ahead and keep, you may want to come into here and get your search link so you can get the link for that. And again, that will, I just put it in a notepad or a text pad or Word document, and I'll say, come back to this one. It's hard to reverse engineer sometimes. We've all had that happen where you're like, how did I get to that before? Oh yeah, I still had French selected. Thanks, Jess. It takes a village. So does it accept undergrad students' research projects? It is a dissertations database. So while there is, and you'll even notice on the basic search that you can have doctoral only or citation connections, I do find that, these are graduate works. So yeah. I'll stay on for just a minute here and see if we've got any other questions. There is going to be a second session. I have a colleague who's doing a second session on this database, and I think she's going to go a little bit longer. So we were kind of trying to do like an hour, and then she was going to do longer. But I know that I believe Lenny recorded this, so you should have the access to this. But yes, let me know if you have questions, and I will stay on here for a couple minutes and we'll see what we get.
Only thing I want to add is that I just put in chat how to get to dimensions, where it's located, and also that there is a lesson explaining how to use it. But this is a tool that allows you to find out what colleagues you want to communicate with and where funding is coming from on specific topics, and what your institution and other institutions have published. So please look at chat for that if you're interested.
Great. And I'll just put in chat one last time. I can't stress enough this great handout that one of my colleagues put together from our LibGuide. So I'm going to go back to our LibGuide, and you might be thinking, well, how come you're not on the dissertations LibGuide? Again, the ProQuest platform is where our databases are housed. And so everything that you can do on the ProQuest platform, you can actually use this search tip guide for EBO, which you also have access to, and the other database that you have access to. So those search tips are great using the proximity. It also goes over nesting. So if you want to do something really detailed, but talking about what the difference between and, not, and or, the near, which we looked at. We also have pre, which I found was very helpful if terms had changed over time and had words in front of them. If you want exact, if you're looking at spelling variants, and then we also have links to more resources.
Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. I think your time is up. We
Yeah.
really appreciate this detailed overview on how to search and what resources are available. As I said, as Sarah said, this will be available on the Research for Life list of webinars, and I can put that. What you do is you go into the Research for Life database, you go to training, and you click on webinars, and we will have the presentation there and a copy of this session, video copy of the session. And then we're also repeating this a week from Friday. No, December 5th. I'm not sure what date that is. And the reason we're doing that, is that correct? It's a Friday?
Yes.
Okay, and the reason we're doing that is we're focusing on East Africa and also Asia at a different time. Mercy, my colleague, will be the moderator, and Sarah and I probably will be asleep at that time. So we appreciate your attending, a very nice number of participants, and I hope that you can share this with others and tell your colleagues about the repeat of this workshop. Thank you. Are there any more questions?
There was a question about if somebody wants their institution's access to Research for Life to be IP based, how do they go about that? I'm not sure if that's on our end or if that's on my understanding is that that Research for Life is a portal that you're all using. So
yes, I would say send that question to the help desk, which is, let me get there. I'm pretty sure we send this to everyone.
R4L@researchforlife.org. I'm putting it in the chat.
Yeah, I was
Thanks,
about
Mercy.
to do that. Thank you, Mercy. You're just faster than I am on that. Okay, that would be great. That would be most helpful. So send your questions there is a way to have it auto login using IP addresses, so you will talk to the technical people there and they will be able to sort that out for you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, I hope you all get to start using this right away, and good luck with all of your research and teaching, and thank you very much for coming out today.